Imagine this. You are alone at night, standing in the still air of the countryside. The fields are silent, the moon is pale, and then it comes. A scream. Not just any scream, but a long, piercing wail that chills your blood. You can't see her, you can't escape her, and worst of all, you know exactly what that scream means. Someone is about to die. That is the legend of the Banshee, a figure feared not for her violence but for her voice. The Banshee is unlike most monsters in folklore. She does not claw, bite, or burn. She does not stalk her victims with sharpened teeth or weapons. Instead, she terrifies in a subtler but perhaps far more horrifying way. She appears as a harbinger of death. Her very presence signals that someone nearby will soon die, and her scream, known as the keening, is a cry that can shake the soul. Descriptions of her appearance vary across time and region. Some say she takes the form of a pale, withered crone, with hair tangled and wild, her clothes torn and dripping as though from the grave. Others describe her as a radiant young woman, impossibly beautiful, her hair flowing and her face streaked with tears. And still others claim she can appear as a woman dressed in white or in blood-red robes, her eyes dark from endless weeping. But there is one thing that never changes: her voice. The cry of the Banshee has been described as an agonized scream, a sorrowful song, a sound that is not entirely human. It pierces the night, it freezes the heart, and it means only one thing: death is near. The word Banshee comes from the Irish bean seeder, literally woman of the fairy mound. The fairy mounds, or seed, were believed to be ancient burial sites, entrances to the other world, places where the line between human and supernatural blurred. In Irish tradition, the Banshee is not a demon or an evil entity. She does not cause death. She simply announces it. She is tied to fate, bound to certain families, watching over them through the generations. Some families even considered her presence a kind of twisted honor. To have a Banshee weep for your death meant your bloodline was ancient and noble. But the roots of the Banshee may be even older. Scholars point to the Irish practice of keening at funerals. For centuries, women known as keeners were hired to sing mournful laments for the dead. Their cries could be heard echoing across hillsides, a sound of grief that was as terrifying as it was beautiful. Over time, the memory of these human mourners blurred with myth. The keening woman became more than mortal. She became a ghost, a spirit, a banshee. The Banshee occupies a strange place in Irish folklore. She is not evil, yet she inspires terror. She is feared, but also respected. Her presence reflects one of the deepest human anxieties: death itself. We fear the unknown. We fear what we cannot prevent. And we fear the moment when time runs out. The Banshee embodies all of that in one spectral form. She does not kill, she does not harm, she only tells. And in that, she reveals a truth that is far more unsettling, that no matter what we do, fate will find us. Folklore across Ireland and Scotland is filled with accounts of the Banshee. People claim to hear her wails outside their homes before the death of a loved one. In some stories, she appears at the window, combing her long hair with a silver comb, a comb said to hold supernatural power. There are tales of travelers finding abandoned combs on the road, only to be attacked by spirits when they pick them up. The comb, like the wail, ties her to the idea of mourning and fate, as though each strand of hair she combs represents another thread in the web of life and death. In one chilling tale, a man claimed to hear the Banshee crying outside his house at night. The next morning, his brother was dead. Another story tells of an entire family woken by the sound of screaming, only to learn days later that a relative far away had passed at that exact hour. Her reach is not bound by distance. Her cry is not bound by walls. The Banshee may be unique in name, but her essence is not. Many cultures across the world tell of spirits whose cries or appearances foretell death. In Arab folklore, there are tales of spirits like al-Sibyan, whose chilling presence is tied to tragedy and death. In Japan, the yurei, ghosts of the restless dead, sometimes manifest with piercing cries, warnings of misfortune. In Aztec mythology, the goddess Cihuacoatl was said to wander the night, wailing in grief for her lost children. Her cries a dark omen for the people. Even in Scottish tales, similar figures appear, known as the Bean Nye, a washerwoman at the ford, seen washing the bloody clothes of those about to die in battle. These stories echo across continents and centuries, whispering the same unsettling truth. Humanity has always imagined death as something that speaks, something that cries out before it comes. Some modern thinkers see the Banshee as more than a legend. They argue she represents the human psyche's attempt to externalize grief and fear. The keening cry could be seen as a manifestation of our inner dread. When people heard unexplained sounds at night, animals screaming, the wind howling, they may have interpreted them as supernatural omens. Our minds, desperate to make sense of fear, created a figure to embody it. But psychology doesn't strip away the terror. If anything, it makes it worse. Because if the Banshee is just our own fear given a voice, then her cry is always with us. Even today, stories of the Banshee continue. People claim to hear cries outside their homes before a tragedy strikes. Urban legends retell old tales in modern settings. A scream outside a hospital, a wail in the distance before a car accident. Pop culture has embraced her too. The Banshee appears in horror films, fantasy novels, and video games. She is often reimagined as a violent monster, though the truth of the myth is subtler and more chilling. Why does she persist? Because she taps into something timeless, the dread of death, the inevitability of loss, and the eerie comfort of believing that the universe whispers before it takes. The Banshee is full of contradictions. She is terrifying, yet she does not harm. She is mournful, yet her cry inspires panic. She is tied to families, yet she roams the wilds. Perhaps it is these contradictions that make her so enduring. She reflects the paradox of death itself. We hate it, we fear it, yet we accept it as part of existence. The Banshee reminds us that death is not always silent. Sometimes it comes with a scream. So what really is the Banshee? A ghost born from ancient funerary traditions, a fragment of folklore passed down through centuries, or something far older, far stranger, a real entity that walks the border between life and death, crying out when our time has come. Do you think this is only a myth or something more? Subscribe to Dark Folklore for more terrifying legends from around the world.